Joining us right now on the BetQL Guest Hotline is our pal Spencer Carbery. He's presented by the Centers for Advanced Orthopedics. More locations, more advanced care centered around one thing you. Visit CFAortho.com. Good morning, Coach.
Morning.
Hey, Coach. Remember last week we asked you about what you want for your walk-up song? So I don't think you picked U2. I think you said something country. So can we just play something country from now on, or is there a certain band you like?
Yeah, I thought we were going with Luke Bryan. I thought so. That's what we.
Is that what you said?
I think we're bad listeners.
Right.
You forgot.
All right, that's our bad. Luke Bryan. You know what? We'll have a walk-out song
He wouldn't
today.
want his players to be that bad of listeners.
All right, so we got you. Luke Bryan from now on. All right.
All right, we got it. What did you listen to this morning during your run?
Oh, I had the house playlist on Apple Music rolling.
Oh,
Good.
yeah. What time is it? You're in Ottawa. What time is it in Ottawa right now? Is it East Coast time?
Same time.
Oh,
It's
okay.
7.
All right.
Yeah.
So what was the first official week, like regular season as the coach? I saw the locker room scene after your first win, and you were handing out pucks, and you got a puck from Ovi.
Yeah,
what was that like?
Do you guys do that after every win, or that was special just because it was your first as a head coach?
First as a head coach, so that's where you get the puck or first goal. Like Matt Phillips scored his first NHL goal. And then they'll do something as we move along in the season. They usually give out like something, and it's a player-driven thing where it's an unsung hero of the day, someone or the game. When you win, you hand it out to one of your teammates that did something that night. Some teams do like a belt, some do like a hat. We don't have anything yet because I sort of talk to our leadership group. It'll come organically. Like they'll find something that they rally around and they really, can use.
Okay.
I remember they did the rope for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
So in that game that you won, the first period was not good. You guys were outshot 18-3.
Is that the new system, Coach?
I don't mean to bring up the negative first, but the win was great in the shootout. But kind of just talk about your reaction to the first period in that matchup.
Yeah, they and it's a little bit of a unique style with Calgary, where they're a shot volume team. So anytime they get a puck, even if it's a low percentage shot, easy save, as you would say, it's coming to the net. And that they got us back on our heels. And that, it wasn't a great start at all. And to be honest with you, there's a lot of stuff through that game, through the first two games that we're working through and trying to get on the same page rather quicker than later, because it's, we got to get some things sorted out.
So, Coach, we were trying to figure this out. Ovi's the star of the team. He's chasing the record, and he's usually a guy who has a decent amount of shots per game. In the Pittsburgh game, he had 4 shots. But then no shots against Calgary. What's going on there?
I think I heard that yesterday, and I didn't notice that after the game. But he did have, he missed the net. The one in overtime, one in regulation on the power play from his flank spot, missed the net twice, had it blocked. So I look more shot attempts because obviously a shooter like him, he's trying to pick corners. So, he could have, let's just say 8 shot attempts, and he misses the net on 7, and 1 hits a guy's shin pad. So he got to spots 8 times.
Right.
Now he didn't hit the net, so we got to talk to him what's going on there. Usually he doesn't need much of a pep talk. He's like, yeah, I'm just off a hair, a foot, one way or another. So I didn't mind, the shots that he took, but I didn't think their line was great overall, and we'll make some adjustments lineup-wise, line combination-wise to see if we can get O going a little bit with a different look.
It seemed like your third line really sparked things for you.
Agree. They've been our best line the first 2 games, without question. I agree.
Hey, props to Matt Phillips, man. I can't believe that there's a professional hockey player at 5'7", 140, but there is, and he scored against his old team, and he's actually from Calgary, so that must have been really cool for him.
Oh, unreal moment. You can't even script something like that to play against his former team. He'd been in that organization for 5-6 years, had played, I think it's 3 NHL games for him over those 6 years. So not a lot of time on the big club. And as everybody knows, the story of him making our team here, and then the second game of the season, plays against the former team, and essentially, I mean, gets us to overtime and to the shootout to win that game with his goal and assist. It was an unbelievable moment.
How often as a coach will you practice shootout stuff?
Yeah, that's a good question, because there's some schools of thought that say don't practice it, just let the players feel their way in the moment, because if they practice it, you start to overthink it, you start to get in your own head. And we went through this in the preseason. I'll tell you, so Kuzy, as you guys have seen his shootout move, I asked a lot of our main shootout guys, TJ Oshie, Kuzy, if they wanted to shoot in the preseason. Because sometimes, like I said, they want to keep their moves or what they're going to do, and they don't want to work on it. They don't want to show other goalies. They just want to, when the games are for real, that's when they want their number called. And I asked that to Kuzy, and I said, do you want to shoot in the preseason? And he said, yes, I do. I want to work on my move. And I said, okay, no problem. So in I can't remember which game. It might have been the Buffalo game or Detroit game where he's going to shoot. And the move he goes, I figured, because being in Toronto last year, played a shootout against Washington, saw his move, obviously saw it on social media. So he comes up in the preseason, and I think he's going to come at it slow, and he's flying down the ice.
Right.
In the preseason. And I said, oh, well, I guess maybe he's changed the move this year, or maybe he's trying to keep, the league off balance on what he's going to do.
That was so funny. What do you call that? Do you call that dribbling the puck? I don't know what you call that when you go back and forth.
I don't know if there's a name for it. It's just
I couldn't believe you could do that.
Just call it the going really, really slow.
Yeah, I think they're calling it the Kuzy Crawl.
That's a good call.
The Kuzy Crawl. So go ahead.
Yeah. No, I was just going to say, and some people are all bent out of shape about it, and I just don't see that. I don't see how you could be, it's making a mockery of the shootout, and what, because it takes an extra 7 seconds? Like, are we on a time crunch here for a shootout move? That stance on it doesn't make sense.
Well, it obviously confused their goalie, Calgary's goalie.
It's so tough.
He wasn't prepared for it.
He was. He knows, because we were talking to our goalie coach about this yesterday. They pre-scouted that, and Markstrom knew, okay, I need to be ready for this. Here's what your options, they talked about it as a, goalie coach to goalie about what to do. Here's the, whatever, your protocol when that happens. It's just a really, really difficult, because you never see moments like that in practice or in a game. So it's tough for the goalies to control their depth of how deep they get in the net. And as you know, goalies have to challenge, they come off of their line on 99% of shots or 90% of shots. As you get closer, they have to sort of back in, but their spacing and their depth gets all jacked up when you come at that speed.
Talking to head coach Spencer Carbery of the Capitals, are 1-1, have Ottawa next. So let's talk about this blending of the lines. You started off, I think, when we talked to you, where you kind of had the old man line, right? You had Ovi and Backy and Oshie together, and now it looks like you're going to work with Ovi, Dylan Strome, and Tom Wilson as line number one. Tell us what you think you're going to get there.
Yeah, we just, like I said before, we just felt like we needed to get a different look, not just offensively, but in all three zones defensively. So Stromer and O played together for large stretches last year and had some success together. So I think that that's sort of the reasoning there, pairing them up. And then Willie's a real Tom Wilson's a real, he's someone that can retrieve pucks. He's someone that gets up and down north-south, plays that type of game. So he can help those guys from a puck recovery standpoint, from a forechecking standpoint. So that's the thought there, and getting Backy, sort of moving down the lines, like I think Sonny Milano and Matt Phillips playing at a real high level, like we talked about on that Strome line, has been our best line the first. Getting back between those two guys that are playing well right now, Milano that's got some pace to his game that can skate, and Matty Phillips really smart, can find areas. We'll look at that tonight and see where it goes. So
tonight we got Ottawa. Ottawa, just look at the numbers. They've scored 13 goals. They're 2-1. They've scored 13 goals in the 3 games. They got the Keith Tkachuk's kid, right? Brady Tkachuk.
Yeah.
Who already has 4 goals in 3 games. So what are the scouts? What are you seeing for Ottawa so far?
Yeah, I've seen a lot of them over the last couple of years in Toronto, and they're a young up-and-coming team that has sort of over the last few years continued to get a little bit better, and their young players have matured. The Brady Tkachuks of the world, they also have on the back end a young defenseman who's, you can remember his name because he will be good for a long, long time, and Jake Sanderson, Jeff Sanderson's kid, I think. Tim Stutzel, German forward, who's another young player, but now all of a sudden in his 3rd, 4th year is a real difference maker. So they're a handful offensively, especially like you touched on. So we're going to have to be real detailed tonight when we don't have the puck. And it's a good challenge going on the road, first road game of the year, and for us to play against a real good team.
How are you finding sleep as a head coach versus being an assistant coach? Is it harder to sleep?
Great call. I got about 3 after the game. It's just less. It's just less, which is all good. It comes with the territory and your the stress levels and all that stuff, and just the responsibility and all the stuff that you need to sort of set plans in place and find ways to get things corrected is probably the best way that I could explain it. Of differences, you just have way more of that as a head coach. And
wow. Does Coach Carbery sleep on the plane?
I do try to get one of those power naps, like yesterday, because you're getting 3 hours after that Calgary game. You get back, we practice that morning, so we meet as a staff. We get through all our film, do our meetings, practice, and then we get on the plane. So I try to get a little power nap before getting to the hotel in Ottawa.
Well, good luck against Ottawa. And it must have felt good to get that come from behind win against Calgary after the opener against the Pens. I know you didn't expect that.
Yeah, big time. Because I'm hoping, and this is what from our entire group, I'm hoping sort of lifts a little bit of pressure. We get on the road and we can sort of get to our game, like some of the things, or more consistently of what I saw in the preseason, what I believe we're capable of doing. Hopefully that kind of lifts a little bit of a weight, and we can just go play now, and we can not be pressing or try to make something happen every time we touch the puck and hit a home run, as opposed to looking for our spots, advancing runners, hitting some singles. You know what I mean? You guys know that.
Right, right.
Look at you, a baseball guy. Did you ever play baseball?
I did. Yes, sir.
What did you play?
Sometimes you got to play small ball, right?
What position did you play?
Second base.
I played catcher.
Oh, wow.
Oh, the leader out there. I like it.
Hey, Coach, did Mantha play in the second game? I know he played. I think he played in the first. Did he play in the second game?
He didn't.
Was that an injury? Was that an injury deal?
No, he's a healthy scratch. We're
okay.
We're getting Anthony going. We're
I got
trying to help him get his game back.
I got you. All right.
All right. Well, thank you, Coach. We appreciate it.
We'll get the Luke Bryan deal ready for you next week.
Yeah, we'll be ready for you.
I love it. Love chatting with you guys.
All right. Thank you, buddy.
Coach Spencer Carbery.